Officially live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Road to Legacy podcast, where we inspire, influence, and educate. Well, we make an attempt to, because there's a lot of people out there that don't want to be educated. A lot of buffoonery out here on these airwaves when it comes to YouTube. There's great shows, but there's also shows that there's a lot of buffoonery, a lot of jumping around, a lot of shaking the booty on both sides. And we try to stop that sometimes. So, a lot of people listen to us. We have a couple of followers, and I want to thank them for following us. I want to thank everyone out there who checks out our TikTok. Please, join our Instagram because we need to build up those numbers on our Instagram and continue to keep it going. So, what's up,
We,
Donna? What's
we,
going
we,
on?
we also need to build our following on YouTube. So Instagram is
Yeah.
great, but YouTube, guys, subscribe to YouTube. It is very free. All you got to do is just hit that subscription button. So if you enjoy what we do, and I know that you guys do, go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, because that is a game changer for us. And with the more subscriptions we get, obviously, we could start to generate some revenue, so that way we can do more on this platform. But I'm good, man. Happy Wednesday. Happy government shutdown day.
Hump day, hump day, hump day.
Hump day. And we are on a massive hump right now, that since our government is currently shut down. Your party is locked down everything.
Right. And, it's not the first time it happened, but, when a government shuts down, it's both parties, man. Both parties can't come to an agreement, so they shut things down. And that's how it goes. I mean, what I'm concerned about is certain things in Veterans Administration, because I'm a vet. And then you have a lot of people that have to deal with the parks. There's people traveling right now. For example, there's people traveling to New York. They're traveling to DC. The museums are still open, I think, until the 6th. The longest time they shut down the government was maybe 20 days, and that's hard because people don't get paid. TSA is not getting paid, even though they got to go to work. The cops, federal cops ain't getting paid, even though they got to go to work. So it's deep. It's deep. It's a deep situation. But this is where our country is right now. The egg prices haven't gone down. What else hasn't gone down? Everything's been going up. You know, the shootings are going up. The what do you call it? The mass shootings in America. I think it was 300. Me and Curtis, I think we were talking about it. If it wasn't him, it was someone else. 365 mass shootings so far this year.
That includes a whole year. So that means there was a mass shooting every single day of the year.
Right. So far, it's not even finished yet. This is
far.
we're only in what is it? September, October. So
It's October 1st. Welcome to October 1st, everybody. And one thing that we need to really address, and with these mass shootings, white men got to get their stuff together. They're always talking about black folks and black crime and this, that, and the third. These mass shootings are committed by white folks, white males specifically. So you need to check in on your people, man. Y'all need to, tighten them up and address the non-addressed situations that are happening. Because it's crazy. These mass shootings are off the chain. In fact, that last mass shooting was he was in the military.
Right.
So there is a major there's a major mental health crisis. There's a major crisis with white males that need to truly be addressed. A lot of people don't like to say it. They point the finger at us all the time, and they're looking at us through a microscope or a
magnifying glass,
big broad view all the time. And the truth of the matter is, this is an issue. And it always has been an issue when it comes to these mass shootings in America, and in this current administration, man, it's just everything is crazy. You heard what's his name? Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Yeah, Pete. He's
the
Secretary
Democrat.
of Defense.
No, you got it wrong, brother. You got it wrong. You got
Headset,
it.
excuse me,
Yeah,
headset.
yeah.
Headset, excuse
Buttigieg
me,
is
wrong
yeah.
name, wrong name, headset.
Buttigieg is all right.
Yeah,
Buttigieg is all
Buttigieg
right.
is all right. He's all right. I mentioned his name because I was listening to I was reading Kamala Harris's book yesterday, and his name
Mm-hmm.
came up. So I
Mm-hmm.
mixed them up. But yeah, man, it's it's the world is on fire. It's a lot of stuff happening, man.
Well, it's not like it's never happened before. I mean, this is we're in a situation where it's almost as bad as it was in the '60s. I think we might be going back to those days, but it's not like it's never happened before, man. It's just this always goes down. I mean, the reason they're going back to changing rules in the military, that's what's doing, is that he was talking about how he's going to go back to the old days and how they did it in the military, which is not good for these days, from the shaving profiles, which is really deep. Shaving profiles is really deep. Shaving profiles are going to get a lot of low ranking, non special forces people, young men and women, young men. And in some cases, well, some women have to shave, but young men out of the military because they can't post a shaving profile anymore. And we have a tendency to get razor bumps and keloids in some situations when we shave. And he's trying to tell people that they can't get a shaving profile anymore, meaning that you have to leave the military if you don't shave.
What was your experience during, you were in the military. I'm wondering what was your experience with that, not being able to shave and all that stuff. How did that have any effect on you?
Nah, not really. I never had a problem with keloids and stuff like that. Um, I never had a problem with razor bumps, but uh, it was I had friends that had many razor bumps, but they still shaved over those razor bumps. I had friends who had keloids over the years, but they had shaving profiles to actually, to make it through. But what was my experience back in those days, man? It was crazy. I did have an incident where my gunny, who is like your second person in charge of your little unit or your area or your battery, right? Because I was in an artillery unit. And he didn't like the way my mustache looked.
Well,
And I
I
basically
don't
had to
like your
take him to JAG.
mustache.
Yeah, you're funny. I had to take him to JAG. And JAG is the judicial administration in the military. I had to take him to the court, and I almost got court-martialed. Almost got in a lot of trouble because I wouldn't um, cut my mustache like kind of like a Hitler-looking thing.
Hmm.
And I was told through JAG that a lot of these white uh, first sergeants don't like the way, and master sergeants don't like the way our hair grows on our face. I've had something like that, but I didn't get in trouble because I knew where to go, and I took care of that right away. I went to court on it. But anyway, other than that, yeah, he's just doing that stuff. He's trying to make people work out more, which is a good thing. But then you have people that are pencil pushers that work in the Pentagon that have all the strategy here that he's going to lose. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. With your background, what do you think that means for our military here? And how does this affect us on the world stage? Because we know that China is their military, just in numbers and weaponry, they are very, very prepared. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, China doesn't can't hold nothing to us, and they never have. Like I said that they can't. They never could. They never have. They never could. They don't have enough equipment yet. They don't have a lot of different things. They're catching up, but they have a long way to go. America will always be the world power when it comes to, not always, but America will be for the next, I don't know, 20 years, the number one stronghold in the world.
Well, I
That's
mean, there are a lot of alliances that are currently happening right now, and I don't know how much longer this country will hold that power or that number one seat as the superpower. We are literally imploding. You have Trump, who is sicking the military and the National Guard on civilians. There's so much divide in this country, and um, if if we don't get our stuff right, it's going to be a wrap. I don't see America being the stronghold anymore. Um, there's so many things that's happening right now in this country. And you said something earlier that this has happened before. Um, I mean, if we look at what the '60s during what was the Vietnam War and all the protests that was happening back then, the segregation and everything like that. Um, but it feels that this time around is very different. Besides the world mass protests and ICE agents going into cities and
Mhm.
towns and having National Guard on top of ICE and having federal the FBI and CIA on the streets and the military now. Trump is talking about arming them to go into cities. Um, it feels very different, and maybe it feels different for me because I was not born during I wasn't around during that time. I know you're a lot older than me, and you probably seen some of the stuff that
I ain't a
happened,
lot older.
like 40, 50 years older than me.
All
You just
right.
look good.
Right. Right.
But I for me, it's brand new, and what I find interesting too about this time is it feels like the younger generation don't care or even know what's happening. And then I wonder if when you were younger, if it was the same thing, like from what you can remember.
But when we both was younger, I mean, it's not that far apart. We have a little gap, but the work ethic with these youth these days. People just feel through, social media that we're on and stuff that they just have to have these things, that they're entitled to certain things. You know what I'm saying? So the work ethic wasn't that hard. They weren't going like in New York City. If you didn't have a job and you were in high school, it was kind of whack if you didn't have a job. Like I was a messenger for a while, I was a messenger in the eighth and ninth grade downtown New York. That's how I love walking through the city and finding things out. And then you would do what people told you to do. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, people tell you to do something and you think you're entitled. You don't have to do it. Why I got to do that? I should be making the money right now. I should be doing this right now. And it doesn't work like that. And that's why we're losing our young people. Another thing, when it comes to the vote, these young people don't know anything about civics and what's going on in the country. I think that New York is stepping up to the plate when it comes to Mandani coming in, where young people started voting, which is a good thing. Young people came in and started voting, and I think that's good. But other than that, I don't see anything that young people, I'm serious, that are doing these days. But yeah,
Nah, I'm
sitting
not.
on
I'm
their
not. I'm
ass.
not. No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the comments. We got our brothers in the comments. We got Bill Brown in here. We have Patrick Murray, and they. I'm laughing because they said people are asking, when are you gonna have Hoodman on the podcast? People want to hear about his legacy and keeping the streets safe.
Yeah, yeah. So Bill Brown is a brother who should be on this podcast. He
And
should be,
Patrick. And
but
Patrick.
and Patrick, but I want Bill Brown to be on the podcast. Patrick be hooking us up. Patrick
Yo,
came through a lot of times over the years, helping us out with all of our charity stuff, which is dope. Hopefully, he could come through again this year. But Bill Brown, should he be using his government name? Bill
that's
should be out here talking about all the travels that he did and how he took the love and switched it all around and started traveling throughout the world and ended up in Colombia and came back here and is doing his business. Proud
Bill
of Bill Brown.
was
He got a
living.
good story though, but he ain't gonna tell it. He ain't gonna tell the story.
Yo, Bill was living very close to all of to where everything is happening. He was living in Cyprus for some time. Not to talk your business, Bill, but we need to have him on the podcast. We definitely need to
No, we need to
have
have.
Patrick on the podcast too, because they both one they're our brothers, but two they have a lot to discuss. Maybe we have Bill on the travel aspect of the podcast, or we can have him on talking about this current administration. Pat, also from New York through Pennsylvania, and Bill from Maine. So they definitely have a perspective. I would love to know how they feel and what they think about what's happening right now. And one more thing, I want to shout out Bill. His company that he's brought to Atlanta is called Wood Wizards. Wood Wizards in Atlanta. If you guys are in the Atlanta area, check out Wood Wizards. They do basically like wood shop for kids, which is super, super dope. It's something that has been missing for a very long time in our public schools, and he's bringing that back, teaching a skill and almost like a trade for kids, which is super dope. But yeah, man, I didn't want to pardon me for interjecting.
No. I mean, I want Bill to come on and tell the story. Tell the story about, why he started traveling. That'd be real deep. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Bill and y'all, God bless you two guys. God bless you two brothers. Thank you for your support. Yeah, so another thing that happened last week, a week before last, was Charlie Kirk getting killed, right? Remember that happened?
It wasn't the week before last. That was a few weeks ago.
Right.
Around the beginning, it was around the beginning of the month before September 11th. I think it was September 10th.
Yeah, it was. I think it was September. Was it September 11th or was it before? I don't know. But he got killed. So that was crazy. And then you have somebody like Cash Patel from the FBI talking about this is a tragic thing, so forth and so on. And then a couple weeks later, of just health reasons, Asada Shakur dies, and he tells us that we shouldn't mourn her at all.
That's because we have to remember America's history for one, but we also have to remember what this current administration brings to the table.
Well, people have to know who Asada Shakur was. The people know who she is. Do you know who Asada Shakur is yourself, or you want me to?
I do know who Asada Shakur is.
Right. Some people don't know who she was.
What she stood for. So Asada Shakur, for those of you who don't know, you should absolutely look her up. But just a little quick, I posted something on our Instagram. I didn't post anything on our TikTok. Just basically, talking about her life and what she did and what she represented. That woman was an icon. She was a revolutionary person. She represented Black power and Black excellence to the fullest. She was from New York City, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. She was from New York City, but she was a part of the Black Panther Party. And she started basically a revolution. They charged her for a crime that she did not commit. She was pulled over at a traffic stop in New Jersey with state troopers, and they basically gunned her, shot her, killed the guy that she was with. I'm butchering it. Maybe you could explain it better than
I will say this. That the New Jersey Turnpike in New York City, that comes out of New York City and goes towards the south. I've traveled many times, and over those many times, my family has traveled. Over those many times, you always got stopped on the New Jersey Turnpike. Before Asada Shakur, after Asada Shakur, and even to this day, in some cases, if you have a nice car, you're Black. You definitely got pulled over a lot on the New Jersey Turnpike. She got pulled over on the Turnpike. She had a shootout with the police department. They accused her of killing an officer and arrested her. Her name was. This is how they butchered it, though. They called her Roseanne Chesnard, but that's her married name. When she divorced that person, but they still used that name. Her real name, her birth name, was Joanne Byron, I think it was.
Joanne Deborah Byron.
Right. Joanne Byron, I think. Yeah. Okay,
Byron. Joanne Deborah Byron.
And then she took on the name of Asada Shakur, who happens to be Tupac Shakur's godmother. If people don't know.
Yeah, but
and
she was a part of the Black Liberation Army.
right. She got they broke her out of jail. It's a long story short. You got to get the book. It's called Asada. It's one of the best books I've ever read. They broke out of jail, and she made her way into Cuba, where people kept her there in open arms and made sure that they protected her and watched over her in Cuba. And she
Yeah,
died in
just
Cuba last week.
and just for the record, she didn't fire any gun. They were pulled over by state troopers, and like you were saying, on the New Jersey Turnpike, and the guy that she was traveling with, there was a shootout between him and the police, where one of the officers were killed. One of the state troopers was killed. Uh, but they shot her up pretty badly because she had her hands in the air.
Mhm.
And this is in it's documented in the records. And so when you look at the ballistics and you do all that stuff, there was no fingerprint of her fingerprints on any of the weapons, and how they shot her so badly that she was not able to move her hands. And so, when you look at the medical report, it shows that, like, again, she could not even fire a weapon. However, she was charged with murder, and they gave her a life sentence. And like Martin was just saying, she was broken out of jail, and then she fled to Cuba, where they she was in exile. She was the first woman to be on the FBI's most wanted list, even though she never committed a murder. And just her story was amazing. She first degree murder. They said assault and battery against police officer, assault with a dangerous weapon. They gave her a bunch of charges, and she represents freedom for us Black folks. So when you hear, not just for Black folks, let me rephrase that, because she represents freedom for the world. And the reason why I say the world is because when you live in a system that's unjust, when you live in a system that do not support the people, she represents liberation for the masses, because she was able to escape the system. And shout out to Cuba for holding her up and taking care of her and protecting her, even though they had, I believe it was either a $2 million or $4 million bounty on her head, which we all know that's a lot of money. But that woman was what she represented to everyone. Every single protest that happens around the world or in the United States, none of those protests and things that are said during those protests could not be said if it were not for her. So I didn't mean to go on a long tangent about her, but you guys should definitely look her up if you don't know who she is. Asada Shakur. She was just incredible. But yeah. Sorry, Doc. I kind of went off for a little bit.
No, it's good. She's an ancestor now, and she continues to be in the hearts of all of our hearts, mind, and soul. She is ancestor to the Black Panther Party. She's a Black Panther Party ancestor now. A Black Power Party, not Black Panther, Black Power Party ancestor now. We love her. Angela Davis is still in there.
Yep.
Elton Cleaver and all these other brothers have passed and become ancestors. Huey P. And we just wanted to just bring that up. Another thing that I found out this week is that your boy. Well, I was trying to get to that. Your boy Eric Adams has stepped down up out there in New York, which puts it. Which is kind of strange that he would step down like that, because he said he didn't need the money, and then he said that he didn't need the people. Then he said that he needed the people, and then he decided. I think there's a little conspiracy there. I think Cuomo is back in, right?
Como's in. He never left.
Okay, so it's going to be a Mondani Cuomo thing. So I think Eric Adams was told by the administration, this is what it sounds like to me, to step down so all those votes can go to Cuomo. That's what I think is happening. I don't know, either Cuomo or Sliwa. Sliwa's still in there?
Yeah, but I mean, hold no way. It's really
I
uh
think is Sliwa a leader right now? Can you check? Sliwa might be the leader right now.
I highly doubt it. I'll check though.
That'd be crazy. So Curtis Lewa, back in the day, he had a vigilante group called the what was the
Guardian
name of it?
Angels.
The
Guardian
Guardian
Angels.
Angels on the trains in New York City when he felt that the police department weren't doing their jobs back in the 80s, back in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Now he's running once again for mayor. He has a strong Italian white base in New York. New York is a different monster than other states because people think that New York is all blue. But even when it was all blue, you had a lot of racism and a lot of people from the Dinkins days all the way through Giuliani, all the way when Koch. There was always something going on in New York. New York has always been kind of strange when it came to the vote. So,
Well, there's he first of all, he would never be leading in front of just let alone Cuomo. Uh, however, right now, no, he's not in the lead. Who has the ear of the people are the two candidates that's there, and more so than anybody else, Mondani is most likely going to receive all of the votes for the mayor of New York City, just because he gets it. He's labeled as a socialist, but however, he has the voice, he has the ear, he has the heart of the people, and this goes across all creeds, color, races, however you identify yourself, and this is what makes him so powerful and a danger to the Republican and to the Democratic Party, because his ideals more so align with Bernie Sanders' vision, and more of the vision of the people. He literally has his ear to the streets, as we say, and he has the pulse of the city. And he gets New York City. However, he's a big threat, because Donald Trump recently said that he will withhold New York City funding, if Mondani becomes the mayor, which would be interesting to see. And I don't even know if that is legal for a president to withhold money from a city, let alone a state. There's a whole bunch of steps that need to take place before that decision happens. But we know Trump doesn't follow a playbook by any means. He does what he wants to, and everybody bows and kisses the ring.
right. Right, which might change it. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not in New York anymore. I'm in Indiana, and I will in Indianapolis, and I will tell you that, well, the thing that I'm glad about is that young people actually came out and voted and actually got him in there. I think that he's a politician, just like any other politician, and I don't know what he's going to do for the city, but I do know that people came out to vote for him, and I like that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So what we were gonna do today is we were waiting for a businesswoman to come in. Her name is Dana Roberts Ross. But if she is late to coming in, because we're not gonna be on these airwaves too long, then we will give you her information at a later date, man. But yo, what else is going on, D?
I mean, what is not going on? I just want to go over Mondani's. What I
Yeah,
know
go
you're
ahead,
not
go
in
ahead,
New
go
York
ahead.
City anymore, so it doesn't matter to you. But one of many things that he plans on doing is lowering the cost to make it easier. He's going to freeze the rent, fast, free and fair buses, no cost childcare, city owned grocery stores, cracking down on bad landlords, taxing more big corporations. This is some of the things that he's promising to do, and of course, it represents what the people actually want. Because living in New York City, even though I live where I live, it's expensive, man, and the cost of living is not cheap. Living in New York City is not cheap, and want people need housing for one, and people do not want to live in these current conditions that we are in right now. And it's great his energy, his vibe, and his campaign and the volunteers that he had is unmatched, unheard of in New York City in 2025. His campaigns alone was just revolutionary, meaning you didn't see. I'm trying to think back if there's any politician that I know of since, in my lifetime in New York City that actually was going to every single neighborhood and really, really speaking to the people. I think Obama did that when he was running for president in his first term. But Mondani, man, he's great. He's always ready. He's sharp. He's sharp. But you said what else is going on? There's a lot going on. There's the toy drive that's about to come up. Our annual toy drive that's coming up. Right now, the date is December 19th. As you guys know, we do this in the Bronx every single year.
Maybe get Danny to come through that.
I will try.
Maybe we can get him to come through.
I will try. I'll speak to Amanda Ferris, see if I can talk to her about it, or see if Jeanette has some contacts, because I believe that in Castle Hill they were starting to teach the kids podcasting, and he was supposed to go there to for the kids to interview him. I don't know if that happened, but that is a possibility. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But this is going to be our final year of doing the toy drive in Castle Hill. So this time,
why is it going to be our final year?
It's going to be our final year because there's more things in the community that need to be done besides just giving kids in the community food, toys, and clothing. I feel that we need to make a pivot to do more, because those toys and those gifts only last for a season. And what we want to do is try to impact and actually change people's lives. So this will be our last year. And plus, we've been doing it for the last 7-8 years now. We've been doing toy drives in Castle Hill, and it's been great. It's been an absolute blessing. We had great turnouts, and we've been able to put smiles on kids' faces and families' faces in Castle Hill, which is dope. But that's coming up on December 19th. So hopefully you guys could help us out. How can you help us? One is, we always say, your time. And the years that we've been doing it, we were able to get some people who watch or follow us on social media to come through. We had a few photographers come through. We had another sister from the Bronx who gave out books.
Right.
But we need your help to do so. And if you are in the 5 boroughs and you are looking to do something in the community, hit us up, because we need more volunteers this year. We need people to help us wrap gifts. We need people to help us organize the lines. We need people to help host activities. We need people to take photos. We need people to just help overall. And we have a few things in the works that are coming. We may, God willing, have a digital display of all the photos that we've taken throughout the toy drives. I have a friend of mine who's going to be putting together, helping to put this digital display together, and we probably going to try to project it off of the building, which would be cool. We are attempting this time to have someone come out and teach people about voting. Hopefully we'll have Amanda Ferris there. We will have masjid from your brother Umar from the mosque. Hopefully we can get some of them brothers and sisters to come out to the toy drive this time and help us. That would be a blessing. Your brother already just co-signed and said, he got us already. So that's going to be amazing. We also are trying to organize activities to happen at the same time, because I think that December gets cold, man. And we've made attempts to have some activities. The last couple of years, we were able to have like hot chocolate, popcorn, some chocolates, but we need some actual games so that way the kids can have fun instead of just standing in line waiting. So if anybody who watches us and will listen to this later on know how to bring games and events,
You got to
because
be. It got to be like games where you can play with your coat on because it's gonna be cold out there.
yeah. So I'm talking about like hopscotch. I'm talking about like,
Not something you
roller
can do
skating.
with
I'm
your
talking about
hands.
maybe like a little light flag football, because we got the whole block, y'all. We have the whole entire street closed off. And we also this year we're gonna last year we were also inside of the community center, but the Boys and Girls Club. And I think we are working on having some events inside. So I think we may be actually hosting the toy drive inside of the Boys and Girls Club and have the activities outside. But we'll see. Because last year we kind of got thrown for a loop. The weather got crazy. It was raining for a minute. It was super windy, and at the last minute we had to pivot. So we don't know what the weather's going to be. However, we do need any help that we can get. So volunteering, guys. We need plenty of volunteers. So like I said before, if you are the NYC area and you want to do something and give back to a low-income community, hit us up, because we need you all to participate and help us. And then the other thing that we're going to need is every single year we do a tour, we do a fundraiser, we do a GoFundMe fundraiser, and you guys will be seeing that soon as well with the QR code. And it looks like we have one of our guests that's about to pop in. We have Dana Ross that's joining us of uh, uh, Pure Quality Sports. Once she gets her camera right, because it's looking kind of, your background is looking kind of dark, Dana Dane. Um, I'll bring her back in and let her organize
Right. And it's
herself.
called, she has two companies. She has Pure Quality and she has Ross Sports, and she'll tell you about that when she does come on about it. And the reason why we're having Dana on is because Dana's one of those people that's doing something within the community through her entrepreneurship with her athletic company, and also she's a coach. And we needed to talk to her about just certain things when it came to nutrition and how it is to start a business in Philly, and how people don't really support black businesses, and they need to. I mean, when you were just talking about Castle Hill, there's a lot of people that don't come out to Castle Hill because people are afraid to come out to Castle Hill. Now, we've had people come out because they know us. We've had people come out because they know Jeanette. We've had people come out, but there's a lot of people that won't come to that neighborhood because of they think the violence, which is basically a lie. A form of revolution is to come and support us. That's a form of revolution. If you want to fight back and fight the lies that they talk about black and brown people, especially in the Bronx, Yankees are in the playoffs, and that part of the Bronx, even though it's being gentrified, is still the same that it's been when I was a kid. I mean, it's improved. There's no more burnt out buildings. I'm not going to lie about that. But the Yankees organization has never done anything for that community when it comes to helping out, because that's a black and brown community. So if you want to be a revolutionary, come out and help Road to Legacy podcast. Come out to the Roxanne Reed Toy Drive, give some food, hang out a little bit. Come on through.
Yeah, all right. So we have um, Coach, CEO, serial entrepreneur,
Welcome back.
Miss Ross. We've
Welcome
had
back.
Dana
Welcome back.
on
Hi,
before.
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Just your
Can you
screen
see
is a
me? Can
little
you hear me?
dark.
There's a
Not
Right.
train going
not
overhead.
yeah, not that we don't see your black woman magic, but your background is kind of dark,
For
so we
you.
can't
I
really
don't
see your
know.
face.
You might have to turn around the other way where the sun is on you.
Yeah, because and then you froze a little bit.
Okay, she. So Dana, if you can't come on, just make sure you give us your GoFundMe and the name of your organization, because she's having a little difficulty coming through with certain things.
Yeah, that's fine. When she I'll bring her back in once she gets
You
her
know,
stuff.
oh,
Her stuff.
Corey wants to come in, but I didn't send him a link.
Oh, I wish you would have told me that. I can send him one.
Yeah, Corey.
Corey's email address. I can send it to him now
Mm, shoot.
if you want.
I know that.
But if not, we'll have him come on next time. It's
We'll
fine.
have him come on next time.
But like I was saying, in terms of support, you're gonna see our GoFundMe link that's gonna pop up pretty soon. It's not up now, but you will see our GoFundMe link. You'll see the QR code that will pop up. And but like I said, one of the things that I need you guys to do is definitely go to our YouTube page and subscribe to our YouTube page. We also have a Patreon, guys, that we don't really promote that much. But if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Road to Legacy Podcast, you can donate there as well. I should have had our Cash App attached to this thing. Every time I say that, I think about Umar Johnson with the school.
Yeah.
But yo, you guys can support us. If you go to our Instagram, it's Road to Legacy Podcast on IG. If you go to our YouTube page, which we're streaming on right now, come on, and like I said, subscribe. It makes a huge difference. And when you guys donate, the money that you give goes directly to the toy drives and goes back into the community. If it's $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever you have, makes a huge difference and a huge impact. And it helps us out to buy these toys. It helps us out if anybody needs transportation coming from a different borough. When we have photographers come out and we have videographers come out, we also take care of them as well. So when you guys are donating, that's what that money is going to. Yeah, man. But what's been happening in your world, man? How's everything with the kids and
it's a lot of stuff going on out here in Indy. I mean, it's great. I mean, we have so many. One of the number one things about Indianapolis and being out here is that the school system is just fire. I mean, there's so many ways and so many opportunities out here for youth to just come out here and just continue to join. I think we got Dana back.
It looks like we have Dana back, but I think her Wi-Fi may not be. You got to get your Wi. There you go. There you go. I think you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can see you. I think your Wi-Fi is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you and we can see you.
Good. Awesome. I'm outside.
Hopefully your Wi-Fi
all the way outside just so that I can say that again.
Okay, yeah, your Wi-Fi signal wasn't stable at first, but it looks like it's a lot better now.
Okay, great.
Okay,
I'll just stand right here. You know how they used to.
Listen.
How our parents used to do us back in the day.
You stand in one spot. Don't move.
Yep.
We lost her again, right? Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Wow,
Dana, I don't know if you can hear us, but you got to get to a spot where your Wi-Fi.
I can hear you.
Well, you got to find a spot where your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I can hear you though.
All right, because
I know, but you keep going.
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you guys.
Oh man.
Yeah, we can hear you, but wherever you are, the signal comes. It keeps coming in and out. You'll freeze for a minute. You're good. You're good now.
Okay.
Wait,
I'm good right now.
Good now. Yes, just stay.
Okay.
If you could stay right there, I think you're good.
Okay, I'm right here. I'm not moving.
All right, so we're going to pivot right now real quick, and we want to get Dana in here, and we want to get Dana to explain what her business and what her company is about. Now, Coach Ross has been on this show before. She's a cancer survivor. She's an entrepreneur. She's a loving mother, a loving wife, and she's a great asset to the Black community. But Dana, can you explain to us what you need? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to inspire and influence and tell people about these Black businesses that people can't connect to because they don't have enough publicity. But Dana, is it a way that you can explain what you do and how you do it and why you do it?
Okay.
Your company, the name of your company.
Oh, okay. All right. So The name of my company, Sports Performance.
Mm-mm.
Profits, which is Ross Urban.
Mm.
Yeah, I
It
Dana's
ain't gonna work.
service is
Yeah,
not
it
the
ain't gonna work,
greatest.
Dana. Your internet is not working. So I don't know. Maybe we got to get Dana out of there real quick.
All right, we'll bring Dana if you can hear us.
Glitches in the matrix.
Once you get your Wi-Fi situated, we'll bring you back to the stage because we gotta the Wi-Fi thing is very important because we won't be able to hear you, and then you won't be able to communicate your message to the people. Let them know about the great things that you're doing. So yeah, if Dana can't get back, guys, and Chris is also here. What up, Chris? We got to
Who's
get
that?
Chris
Chris?
on here.
Chris what?
Chris, our brother Chris K.
Well, send him through. Can he come on? Can he
I
come
don't
on,
I don't I
Chris?
don't know if he wants to come on.
All right, maybe he doesn't want to come on, but I'll tell you this much. Chris is another brother out there with a great business. What's his name of his business?
Old Machine Films.
What do they do?
Old Machine Films, they do they do documentaries, they do commercials, they do you name it. His production company is amazing. And I think Dana, it may be back. It looked like she's walking to a spot. Let me see if she's
Well,
ready to
just wait
jump
before
on.
you click her on. Wait before you click her on. So Chris, listen, I've been trying to get in contact with you because uh business reasons and so forth and so on. And you see at the Road to Legacy podcast, we know a lot of people. People start coming on. We just have to put those contacts together and create things just to help others out, which we've done in the past, but we need to do more of. And that's why
Well,
we're on this podcast. That's why we're on here today, trying to get this content up.
yeah, Chris, and just so you know, I'm not trying to put your business out there, brother, but Chris has been extremely pivotal and important to what it is that we do. We worked together for many, many years. He's a great friend of ours. We've been friends for maybe 10 years or more. And Chris does amazing film. Like talking about filmmakers and filmmaking, when he shoots something, it just looks beautiful. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like the
He's an
quality
artiste. He's an artiste.
is beautiful. And he actually shot our season 3 trailer that we haven't put up yet. That we will be putting up soon. We're just missing a few little details, but Chris is an incredible brother, and hope we will have Chris on here. Actually, Chris will be on the podcast at some point. We
Wow.
discussed a few
I hope you
things
can
that
set
we want
that
to
up.
talk
Set
about.
that up. Set it up. Set it up.
Yeah, I will absolutely set it up. And when Chris is ready, because we want to do it properly. Chris he's not a perfectionist, but he's a perfectionist. So it has to be a certain way. We got to get the cameras right. Make sure that it looks good. And so we will be doing that soon before the year is done. That's for sure. Chris actually will be up here because my B date's coming up soon, so he'll be up here in another few days actually. But I don't know if we'll be able to do the podcast because I need you physically here as well, Doc, to do the podcast together. But yeah, man. So, and just talking about what we're doing, what's coming up, current administration, and how it affects us. Talking about life, you were saying that Indianapolis, Doc, is really good. There's a lot of programs. The schools are great. What were you saying about that?
No, I was saying that, out here there's a lot of support for a lot of different organizations and a lot of businesses. And right now it's like one of the number one places to move in America right now when it comes to buying land and buying property, because the city is growing like really quick. The city it continues to build up. And and it's a great opportunity for African Americans to come out here, for Black people to come out here. There are a lot of Black people already here, but are they taking advantage of all the programs? I don't think so. I think that there's all types of ways where you can get money and figure out how to put it in your pocket. But we just need to support. And I was just reading something today about how Black people don't support Black businesses, which is not true. You know, in some cases, that's said to make you not support a black business. But at the same time, supporting a black business is actually doing what me and Donald are trying to do when it comes to stuff that we're trying to do with Dana and people like that. You know, it's just that sometimes you got to have your internet right, you know? Other than that,
Yo,
you know?
and by the way, you know, we didn't even discuss this. We went to we didn't just go. We were a part of one of the best, incredible, iconic, historical, just the experience that
What are you
we
talking
had at during Fashion Week, and Actively Black was by far the best fashion experience that I've ever seen in my life. It looks like Dana is back and may have some better reception. Let's bring her in now. Dana.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello. Can you turn on you have a light? Can you turn on the light in there?
There is a light on.
There
we
we
go.
go. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
You know what? That was because my daughter was standing in my light. How about that? Look,
Oh, standing in your shadow.
All right.
That's metaphorical right there.
I had to come to the kitchen. That's where it goes down. That's where all the light is.
Right.
Sorry, guys, about that earlier, but I don't know. We got a lot of wind down here for some reason, and everybody's Wi-Fi is a little crazy. And they're installing a ton of these 5G things all around. So it's not an Apple thing or an Android thing. You know how people get to arguing, it's Androids, it's your Apple. No, I think it's everybody. I don't know what's going on, but everybody's phones are a little wacky today.
So one of the things Dana is, as I was explaining before, not only is she an entrepreneur, a cancer survivor, a mom, a wife, a beautiful human being, a great friend of mine. Not only is that, but she's also an animal lover. So if you hear Africa, in her background, that's just the birds and the gerbils
right.
and
That's
the cats and the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the dogs are screaming.
You got
But Dana,
Animal Kingdom in her house?
Yeah, we have a sun conure. So it's a bird. He looks like a little parrot. Yeah, they're from South America originally, but he's really cute. His name is Dio. Huh?
Sun Conure. That's what you said is the name of the bird?
Mm-hmm. He's a sun conure.
Right. So Dana,
go ahead. Get some more light, Dana.
I know. Wait, you just hit something and my light went up. Can you pull up those blinds or something a little more? Okay.
So so it is what it is, and you know we have you on this because we want to big up your business, even within this section, as we inspire, influence, and educate each other, and we help Black businesses grow. Not saying your business is just a Black business, but it's owned by you and your family, and you guys are blacker than black. But I love you guys. But anyway, let's tell us about the name of your company, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and what you need. Let's go, Dana. Let us know.
Okay. So the name of my company is Ross Sports Performance, and I do sports performance training with athletes from youth all the way to professional athletes as well. And then we also have a nonprofit organization called Ross Urban Development, where we do a lot of work with athletes that are special needs, if you will. So we work with those who have the ability to, perform in your Special Olympics and other type of competitions that they have, like wheelchair basketball, all of that good stuff. And we also do like a corrective exercise program and a sports performance training program for them as well, which a lot of people who compete in those realms don't have access to sports performance trainers.
Now, are you certified in any of this? What's your certification?
Yep. Certified in sports performance training. I have my certification in that. Also certified corrective exercise specialist. I do vision sports therapy as well and training. and there really wasn't too much of a certification or educational pathway, if you will, for that, as well as the neurocognitive training that I do. So I pretty much put together my own educational pathway for that. So I have a certification in neuroscience from Duke University, and I am currently in a certified certificate graduate program at the University of Pennsylvania here for neuroscience as well. So I just take what I learned from that, kind of intertwine it with kinesiology, which I have a certification in that as well. So I just intertwine that with kinesiology and sports performance training and vision training to help me to build better, stronger, quicker, faster athletes, and more importantly, athletes in a general population that can get back to work after an injury, or athletes getting back to playing after an injury. So
Then
those things are important.
the athletes that you work with, are they kids? Are they adults, teenagers? What's your age range?
Yeah, all of the above. So I have youth athletes that I work with all the way to professional athletes. So I just recently, about a month ago, I had, the pleasure of doing a science-based training. Actually, it was like a combine that we put on at an NBA G League combine here in Delaware, with a team that's associated with the 76ers. Actually, it was a lot of different athletes that were there, and they were all trying out to get on a G League team, not just the Sixers, but there were other teams here, and there were teams here from overseas as well. So
you were training soon to be NBA players? Is that
yeah,
what
so what we did the combine for that. So we did all of the testing that they do, getting together their metrics for their trainers, and also too for their agents, so that they can help them to get on a roster, on an NBA roster, a G League roster, or professional team overseas.
What does that look like? So in your Ross performance, hopefully I got that right on the screen. If
Yep,
you were
Raw
watching
Sports
that.
Performance. Yep.
Yep. So what does that actually look like? So say you get a basketball player who college or comes from the D League, and they are they're trying out to get into the NBA or on an NBA team. What does that process look like for you as a in your facility? What kind of stuff do y'all do? What kind of testing and rehabbing?
Right. So that's a good question. And we also, there are athletes that I train. There's a lot of different ways they get to the NBA. So I actually trained a team here, one of the teams that I trained for the past 3.5 years now. One of the athletes on that team, he actually went into the NBA draft this year. Thomas Sorber. He went to Georgetown, and then he went to OKC. He went to Oklahoma, and so for him, it's basically just an athlete that's locked in, that knows what they want to do. They put in the extra time. I've had other athletes ask me about Thomas, because for them, they were like, I always thought that the NBA was like too far away, but I know when I went to your gym, I trained with him and I saw him. So what is it that he was doing that was different? And there's several different things, Donald. It's like, so we would have a team training, but after that team training, quite a few times, Thomas would still be in the gym with me, or, him and one other athlete on the team, or he would come on extra days or just put in that little extra work. And that is like training and testing on speed, on his ability to jump, his reaction drills, vision sports training, peripheral vision, hand-eye coordination, trying to do those things that are going to put you above and beyond your competition. So the thing, what our niche is, so to speak, at Raw Sports Performance is over time, excuse me, I've been able to do a lot of work experimenting, if you will, with sports performance training, the different technology that's out there, but more importantly, how we can get a baseline of data about an athlete and make that athlete change how they jump, how they, gather and or create force on the ground, how they can get faster and stronger. Because for each athlete, even though I do team training, each athlete is different. So what makes Mike jump faster, or jump higher or run faster, is definitely going to be different from Danny. And a lot of it has to do with body mechanics and the way that they approach and gather. And a lot of these things we just can't keep taking for granted that our naked eye is going to catch everything. So that's why I like to really delve into the technology, because not only is it catching certain things, but we're at the stage where technology can really get down to the science of which side of your body are you creating the most force from? How can we, what's this asymmetry that you have? What muscle groups and joints and ligaments does it involve? And then we can go in and strengthen that and try to balance that out. And then we've been seeing so many great, responses and results from our athletes that I pretty much designed it into a program and created like my own program, if you will, to kind of monitor and assess athletes to get them to the next level when it comes to their speed and, power and force and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the rookie, the center, Thomas Sorber, I believe. Hopefully, I'm not butchering the brother's name. And I was just reading that he tore his he has a torn ACL,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're in a situation like that, or you're dealing with an athlete, I would say like a high profile athlete that's just going into the league and they have an injury like a torn ACL, what are some of your what's like, I guess, so to speak, like not a protocol, but like what are some of the things that you would do using the new technology that you have to kind of speed recovery up?
Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody wants everything faster. Strong. It's got to be like overnight. And a lot of times technology, it does help in a way to like fine tune and give us more of a good timeline as to we should see these type of results if we do this at this point and at that point. We get that. But the human body is the human body. And that was a great question, by the way, because we were just talking about this the other night. I have an athlete that tore the ACL on the right leg and then went through the whole recovery. He came in, we did the corrective exercise and all that other good stuff. And now he's torn his MC. He's got a double MCL and ACL tear on the other side. So here's the deal. And to get to your question, the technology that we have today is amazing. One of the things that kind of gets me, though, is the majority of this technology is not right here in the United States. It comes from other countries, right? But the technology nonetheless is amazing. And you have, like, for example, I have technology where I can actually go in and test the knee, test the strength, test the ligaments and the tendons around that knee to see if it's strong, to see where we are. Because I am, let me give you the pecking order. I'm a corrective exercise specialist. So we're not MDs, we're not doctors, although I do have sports performance doctors and surgeons that are my mentors and that are, the people that we refer to, because you should have, I believe, today when you're doing corrective exercise, you should have a team of doctors or different specialists that you can refer to, because we're seeing some really crazy things with these injuries today. You know what I mean? And the reason being is because when you first have a tear, what I do is I get my athletes to go to their doctor first, talk to the surgeon, set up their surgery, go through their therapy. Once they get cleared from the therapy, then they can come to me and we further get them to from injury to back on the playing field. So the technology that we have will tell us, because sometimes you just have enough, you've just been cleared just enough because in the thigh muscle, there's this, if you can move your quad, right? Very strongly, that pretty much is that indication to the doctors that, okay, we can kind of release you now because there is that muscle, that rectus femoris muscle, without getting too sciencey, that runs down the front of the quad, controls the movement of the knee. So once that's done and they can see that, all right, you have some movement and control, then, we can release you. You can go back to sports. But there's still other steps that you need to take, because just because you can do that, that doesn't mean that you're really ready to get out there and put the force down on your leg like you would if you're a football player and you're running to tackle somebody. You know what I mean? You still might not be 100% to get to that level. So the work that we do helps you to get there, because we can kind of break everything down and test, and then see how everything goes after we assign you some training modalities. We see if that's working, go back and test again. If it's not working, we know we have to make arrangements. Different training modality adjustments. And then if not, if it's good, then we're good to go. And we document that.
That's great. Another question is for recovery time. You said something a little while ago that everybody wants to kind of recover quickly.
Right.
What is a health? I know everyone's body is different and heals differently, etc. What is a good recovery time for an athlete who has a torn ACL? And then the second question is, the other athlete that you mentioned that had a torn ACL, it was repaired, it got good, and he tore something else in his body. What generally happens? Is one pushing too much?
Well, for the first question about that recovery time, everybody just wants everything fast. They want to get right back on top of things. I don't know if you're familiar with Juju Watkins. She's a young lady, plays basketball. Yeah, for USC. She's amazing. I think she's dealing with a tear. And I noticed that the first thing they did was announce that, hey, she's going to be out for the year. Same thing with Thomas Sorber. When he got hurt, they were like, hey, he's going to be out for the season.
Well, Tyreek last night, Monday Night Football, he tore his whole leg up.
Yeah. So I think that that's a great approach. You want to say about a year, because first and foremost, you have to see how bad the tear is. And then that depends on, the surgery and the type of surgery that I have to do, the type of recovery that's going to come from that. You have to deal with scar tissue issues, and you don't know if the healing process is going to heal the right way. So it might take somebody 9 to 12 months. It might take somebody 12 to 16 months. You never know, how it goes. It's individual basis. But the one thing that's for certain is it's something that should never be rushed. It's something that you have to really take your time in putting back together, because it's not just about that person being able to get back out there on the field so they can score, the basketball court so they can dunk and win and all of that. It's about what's life going to be like for them when they're my age and beyond.
So that's something that you also take in consideration in your sports performance, Jim. That's amazing. But another question that I'm curious about. So Martin had just mentioned Tyreek Hill. He dislocated his knee, multiple torn ligaments, including his ACL. Now, when an athlete goes through something like that, and of course he has a lot of years on his body, he's a lot older than the younger athlete. Is there a difference in terms of the injury with age?
Most definitely, because as you get older, our body doesn't recover like it doesn't spring back like it used to, like it could from before. So there's a lot of different things that you have to take into consideration. And probably for him, they're going to look at his training, what he put into it, what kind of workload that he put on his body, the tears, the ligaments, how that happened. And the thing about it is when they're working out and they're training, we really don't have a way to see like, oh wow, are these ligaments and tendons strong and going to withhold? Because obviously there may have been a little weakness, a little bit of tearing going on, I think, with him. And I think the game last night probably was just the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean?
His leg was twisted. His leg was
Yeah.
twisted. Looked crazy.
Yeah. So, and I didn't see it. I heard about it, but I haven't seen anything as of yet.
So another question that I want to ask in terms of the business and as a black woman business owner, what are some of the challenges that you face? Because you have such an incredible program and you've been doing it for a while. And what are some of the challenges that you face as a black woman entrepreneur in your space?
It's funny. I was just asked this question a couple of weeks ago on another interview that I did. And so I can remember coming up and watching, oh my gosh, Pat, I'm sorry, my name, I just shot a blank really quick, but she was the head coach of the University of Tennessee.
Pat Summit.
Yeah. And I just remember like a lot of interviews with people going back and forth with her saying like, you're winning and you're doing so well with this college team and da 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 da, and you're a woman and you're a woman and you're a woman and you're a woman. But yet, growing up a big sports fan and an athlete myself, I'm watching sports where all of the coaches pretty much are men, and I've never heard them saying, "Hey, you're a man, you're a man, you're a man." Like what, how is it that you're winning so much and you've been in the game so long and all of that kind of stuff? And it's a shame that is still part of the problem or the issue, but it is. It's a shame that when it comes to women or the color of your skin, that's a factor. But unfortunately it is. I've had some men, some fathers that said to me, I was a little reluctant. He was like, but to send my kid to you, but I see the results and I bought in because so-and-so told me about you. Like most of my business is, I would say, believe it or not, about 90% of my business is word of mouth, 90%. And it's because people see the results. I've been training kids for a long time. Like some of my kids that I trained when they were younger, they're now graduated from college. Hey, some of them are married with kids, So people have gotten a chance to see the process and see the results. And that's the main thing. Like we've turned, especially with youth sports, we've turned it into such a money grab. People look at it and they say, hey, I want my kid to come because I know you train this kid and that kid is on the Nike circuit and this kid is on the ESPN list and I want you to get my kid. And then I have to explain to them that everybody's different. And the things that I do with one athlete will definitely be different from another. I mean, I'll have a training session and there might be 8 or 10 kids in that session, but everybody's doing their own workout specific to what their needs are, in order for them to get better. So today it's tough because I do have the gender bias somewhat, but I think I've crossed over that line. I had it with football a little bit, but over the past 5 years, I think I've crossed over that line. From dealing with, pro athletes, college athletes, all that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to being Black, that's an everyday thing. It's just an everyday thing. You know what I mean? You're going to I've had some parents that talk to me on the phone, and it's funny. At least 3 were very honest. They said, you know what? I never saw your picture or anything like that, and I thought you were white. They were like, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We can, and we can still do this or train or whatever. So it's all still the same things are there, Donald. I don't think it's ever going to completely go away, when you're a woman doing this or when you're Black and doing anything. It's still going to be there.
Yeah. It's always I'm sure it's always a question that is an unnecessary question, but it's like you said, it's a question that always comes up. Even there was I was earlier before you came on, I was mentioning to Martin, we went to a fashion show, and the name of the brand is called Actively Black, and they asked him a question. Someone was interviewing him. He was like, yo, why did you have to name your clothing line Actively Black? Why I got to be blacker than black? He was like, yo, when you buy leather, a leather coat or a leather bag, and it says made in Italy or Italian leather, you never question, why does it say Italian? If you go to a Mexican restaurant, you see a sombrero or Mexican flag there. You don't, I'm not walking in there feeling awkward because I'm not Mexican. You know what I mean? They are representing their culture and who they are. And so it should never feel like it's a stigma or something. This is us. This is the culture and what it is that I'm bringing to the table. And, unfortunately, we still are not at that place where it's not a thing, like because you're a Black woman and you have your business. So what is it like for you as a Black woman having a business? This should be like, I'm a coach. Coach, address me as what it is that I do and my accolades and what I created. It doesn't matter what I look like or what my sex or gender is. But I figured I had to ask that question because, you don't, at least I don't personally know a lot of women, Black women, particularly in the space that you're in, owning a sports facility, a training center, that's at such a high level. And most oftentimes, it's not heard of, it's not talked about enough or celebrated enough or recommended enough. And so, I always and we always commend everything that you do, and but another question I wanted to ask, when dealing with kids and sports, in your personal opinion, or your professional opinion rather, and personal because you have kids as well, is there a point where a parent can push a child to be an athlete too much? Have you experienced that?
Yeah. No, and the reason why I'm laughing, because I'm like, were you in the gym with us yesterday? Because all of your questions are hitting. These are the same questions that I received. So I have one of my dads again yesterday said to me, Coach, do you just do mental sports performance training for your athletes? Can you do it for parents as well? And I said, why? What's going on with you? He said, because my wife thinks that I'm just too crazy with, our son and this basketball. She was going over their credit card bills and stuff, and she's like, we spent close to $12,000 in 3 months on hotels, entry fees into these AAU tournaments, and air flights and all of that other stuff. And she said, and I don't see him getting any better. She was like, because he's not really playing. And so that's the politics of it too. It's not that he's not a good basketball player, but it's just that on some of these AAU teams, not everybody's going to play. That's just it, period. Not everybody is going to play. That's the illusion that they're giving these kids. So a lot of parents are pushing their kids because they want them to be great. They want them to be, now there's money attached to this thing, Donald. So it's like, hey, my kid could get an NIL deal too. He should be out here, do something, run, jump, get quicker, faster. We need to get this money. And that, I think, when they threw the money into the situation, made it crazier. You know what I mean? You have kids, I think some of them are doing this just to do it. I think there are some people that really, like some athletes in particular, there's no real love for the sport, because they're just all about the new financial gain that you can get, and the parents are right along with them. Because if you're about the sport, there's just certain things you're not going to do and certain things you're not going to compromise. And for one, I think, like one of the coaches just said to me yesterday, said, basketball has officially, youth basketball in particular, and high school basketball has become an all year round sport. There's no breaks. So that's why you see the number of injuries amongst youth athletes have increased by 11% in less than a year. That's
Wow.
huge. The average first year kid going into college, the average athlete has had at least, they say, 1.5, and I don't know what that 0.5 is, but 1.5 major injuries or operations. And I can see it because at one point I had my highest, I had 11 kids on my roster with ACL or MCL tears. 11.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that these young kids are being pushed harder, or?
Yeah, and it's and it's this whole facade of, so a lot of parents will go to, like, everybody's on the social media, Instagram and all, and I gotta love my kids because my kids they're honest. They know it's a, they can come and talk and tell you what's going on, because that's important. That's the type of relationships that I've had with my coaches. But today, relationships with coaches and athletes, it's very transactional, So a lot of these athletes are going to trainers, and it's just like, hurry up and do your drills because they got the next group coming in. It's all money. It's all transactional. And so parents are looking at social media and they're saying, hey, I see this kid and he's one of the top kids. He's going to this trainer over here that works on shooting the ball with the left hand. So you got to start going there. And then, there's this other trainer over here. He's teaching them how to break a press. You need to learn how to break a press. You're going to go to that trainer too. So you have kids going to 5, 6, 7 different trainers. Wow. And everybody's training everybody different. Mm-hmm. And I've even had athletes complaining to me saying, hey, I'm going to this trainer, but because I go to the other trainer is saying, don't go to this trainer because he's messing up your shot and you're not shooting the ball right. So then the kid is confused. You know what I mean? Like, where do I go? And I'm like, well, that's something you talk to your parents about. Talk to your dad. No, but my dad wants me to go there because that's where, Barry basketball went, and he's ranked on the ESPN list. So that's why I have to go there. It's the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like, we really need to be honest with our kids and evaluate where they are. and then find that path that's going to help them become the better them, as opposed to following behind all these other people, because it causes confusion, not only from that level, but not to get too sciencey, but also from a scientific level, from a cellular level that they don't understand. So just really like, let's say, for example, you want a kid to train to be faster or quicker. And I know there's quite a few people that will put their basketball teams on a cross country team. And I used to train cross country and coach cross country and track and field. And what I would do with the basketball players, what we would do is we'd also have them do speed work and work on the hills and different things like that. Because when you're training distance, right, you're neurally, you're calling on more of your slow twitch fibers so that you can run long distance, right? So the exercises, the training, your training modalities, everything should be geared towards that if you're doing it correctly, right? So, but when you're playing the game of basketball, your body is not going to require you to have this good, strong connection with that slow twitch fiber recruitment, right? Because everything is fast and quick and short and fast and quick and short. And that's what you need and explosive. That's what you need on the court. So you got to train them that way as well, so that we're pulling on the fast twitch fibers. We're pulling on and recruiting those muscles that are going to help you to become more explosive. So imagine if one day you're doing all of that recruitment for slow twitch, and then the next day it's all fast twitch, then everybody's kind of like, well, what are we supposed to be doing? And it causes that confusion. So that's why, just from a cellular level, you got to look at how you're training an athlete and put everything in its course. And another thing really quick is, like, most athletes today, we don't have the training. They don't have the pleasure of being able to train with like a preseason, like a corrective exercise, if that's your postseason, to like getting back into your preseason and then like in season train. Like, we can't do that because everything, like, they're constantly playing, they're constantly competing. It's a constant motion. I don't get it. I mean, back in the day, I played 3 sports, and we still had time in the summer to take that, that Mecca down to South Carolina, that pilgrimage that most Black families did back in the 70s, where you had to go down south to see your family, you know what I mean? And you were down there for like 2 weeks. Nowadays, parents are trying to find time to fit in vacations, or they're telling me vacations for their other kids is sitting in the stands watching the other, older sibling play in an AAU game over the summer, and that's not healthy either. So yeah, there's just a lot of things going on there, Donald.
Yeah, and just like you, having kids who are athletes, and Martin also, his daughters were athletes, or his daughter. Both my kids are on the swim team now, and just figuring out time for practice. I feel like their schedule is crazier than my schedule and my wife's schedule. And it's always that drive and push, like, how do I make my kid better? How do I make them faster? And the question that I have in saying that is, how important is mental health for athletes?
Very.
Let me just say one thing as we talk about the mental health and athletes and how that goes. I just want to get it brief so I can get in more stuff about you and what you need to do with your what you need. You need. I need to find out what you need. So go ahead, talk about that really quickly, briefly.
Well, and it's great that you brought that up, because we do have, underneath our nonprofit, we do have these hats, pure quality hats that we're selling, and all of the proceeds go towards being able to pay some of the doctors and the psychologists that we work with on our staff, and some that aren't on our staff. because a lot of our athletes, and you've seen it in the news, a lot of the track and field Olympians and some of the gymnasts have come out and they said, hey, we've been dealing with a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, because it's a lot of pressure and stress to be number one, because a lot of times they're not just doing it for themselves. It's to help the family. It's to help, a little sister that they're trying to raise themselves. You know what I mean? They're trying to get to the bag, if you will, because for them, the money is going to help change their lives and their families' lives. So it's just a lot of stress. A lot of stress comes from also too when you get that money, because now you're really put on the spot to perform. And when athletes, just like everybody else, when they go to their doctors, they may only have 6 or 8 sessions covered, 12 sessions covered. Most of their issues that they're dealing with is going to take more than 12 sessions, to go through. So what do you do then? And I've come across that quite often. That's why I have a great doctor. If anybody, they can connect with me. If there's anybody out there that needs help, Dr. Rochelle Johnson, she has been a saving grace for quite a few of my athletes. And, she does great work. And, she's one of the doctors that's underneath that program as well. And we're talking about athletes being able to receive, and general population too, being able to receive mental counseling at like $25 a session.
That's great.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. And so if we continue to get that, get those accounts up so that we can make sure that people are receiving the work, receiving the stuff that they need, that's important, because a lot of the game, your attitude towards the game, towards, your event, your sport, and just as in life is important. Everything starts with our mind, period. When you wake up in the morning, what's your mindset? You know what you have to do. Do I feel like doing that? Do I, you know what I mean? Or what does it take to get you mentally prepared to get your day going?
What made me ask that, Dana, is Martin and I, we interviewed WNBA great. I don't know if she made it to the Hall of Fame yet. Was on the USA team, Cappie Pondexter, and her mental health is not good. In fact, I don't know what happened to her. Definitely mental health thing, and it led me to asking that question, because in NFL and football we get a lot of people with CTE and all these things, but in basketball and in swimming, in tennis, you hear athletes now speaking out more. And I want to give a big shout out to Osaka for in tennis being the first tennis player that I believe came out and was like, I'm having some mental health issues and I need to take a break away from the sport to deal with this. And now you're starting to hear more athletes come out and talk about, their mental health and how important that is. I don't think it's spoken about enough. And so, thinking about that as a kid and growing up, getting into athletics, and how, if there is an actual effect on kids going into becoming teenagers and adults, et cetera, if that also plays a role in kids. So I'm happy that you have access to that for athletes that come into your sports facility.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm
I'm glad that you asked that question and brought that up, because like I said, today is a different time, it's a different period. I grew up in South Jersey and Willingboro, New Jersey, to be exact. And so in my days watching the news coming up, I didn't watch a news show, and we watch the news all the time, but I never watched a news show where every single day a kid my age or in my age group was getting killed, shot, murdered out here on the streets.
In
Nor
schools.
nor did I have friends that were dying like that and classmates every day. That's the reality for quite a few of the athletes that I train personally. So the mental component is important because, you know, I've had, imagine I've had an athlete tell me one time, and it was just, you know, made me had tears in my eyes, but he caught the bus, you know, to my gym, and he told me that, he said, you know, the other day I try to keep like extra water or whatever, and I was like, hey, take this bottle of water, I have this extra water. He was like, no, I don't need it, I'm good, coach. I was like, no, just put it in your bag because you never know. So he said that he was at the bus stop waiting to catch his next bus, and he wanted to go into the corner store where he was to get a water because he was thirsty. He said that he remembered that there was an incident where somebody had got shot or killed there like 2-3 days ago, and there were like about 5 or 6 people like just standing around, mulling around out there. And he was like, he said, even though I was so thirsty, I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna have to wait. And he got on the bus. He was like, and then he remembered. He was like, dang, Coach Ross had gave me that water. I got that water. I could drink that water. But just imagine that has to be your thought process now. You have to be careful of where you are. Can I go in that store over there to get a water? Like the way that these kids are living today and the environment that they're in is completely different. So when you're talking about the mental health piece, yeah, it's important because some of these kids go from being afraid because they were friends with somebody who got shot and killed, and they don't know if somebody's coming after them just because of their affiliation or whatever the case may be, to parents yelling at them about, I need you to be faster, I need you to be stronger. You know, they feel like they're putting their all into practice every time they step on a court or field, but yet coaches are yelling that it's not enough. And so they're tired mentally. Their outbreak, you know, their timeout from everything is picking up the joystick. You know, like some of them say, coach, you talk about, you know, you guys shouldn't be on the games and stuff too long, but that's where I can like release a lot of my stress.
Yeah. Mental illness is
Yes.
mental illness is no joke. I mean, I think your boy out there in Philly was Barkley. Barkley that came from my Giants, you know, that you guys stole from us, and now you guys are winning everything. I think that he has a foundation that talks about mental health when it comes to sports. You know, how does that? Let me ask you this question, Dana. How do these organizations support you? Do you have any organizations that have tried to support you or that you've asked for support? That's the first question. Is
We lost you, Doc. We didn't hear your second question.
yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
The first question is, how do you, like the Barclay Foundation and certain foundations, have they ever reached out to you? And have you reached out to them? That was the first question. And how do you make your money from these youth, from the parents? And how do you make the money? How do you make the money for your business?
Okay. So to answer your first question, no, I haven't reached out to them, nor have they reached out to us. But from my team reaching out to different organizations, we're starting to see that, you know, there's, when they get money, there's certain criteria they have to follow. You know what I mean? So it's not as simple as, hey, you know, we have some kids that could use your help, that need your help. Can you give us the money? And they're like, hey, yeah, we got this money. Here it is. Like, there's certain criteria that it has to, you know, like they'll get money from their foundation, but they'll say something like, you know, you can only give it to programs that have been in existence for 5 or 6 years. And then they have to have all of these other things. So, you know, that's just a matter of connecting and seeing what's what. But thank you, because I did not know that he actually had that type of organization.
Mhm.
And then to answer your second question, so we do some fundraisers. I do have some donors, some people that will donate money for different projects and things that we want to do. But for the most part, when it's the team training, it's either the parents that pay for it, or the team, or it's a collaboration of the team and the parents, or the school, I should say, and the parents paying for the program.
And how much do you charge? How much do you charge per kid? How do you do it? Do you rate them
So it's different.
time or what?
Yeah, it's different. We do different things. So if it's just like vertical jump training, that's, and you're doing it for 4 weeks, that's one price versus, the 8-week program versus the full sports performance package versus, just certain things that you want to get done or tested. Like if you're like, I just want my kid to get faster. So what is your speed training programs like? And we have like price points and stuff for that. Or for our, weightlifting, if it's, them getting stronger. So
Mm-hmm.
price points vary.
They vary. And you would have that on your website, or you would have that, how would you do that?
Yeah, there's some on our website. We're actually updating our website now, especially now since we got our science-based training program in place now, which I'm really happy about. So it's more of a sport specific training program. So for example, you can get your athlete or your child tested. Let's say if they're a middle schooler, and I could tell you these price points. So if you're a middle schooler, it's a 4-week program for $250, and we do a whole body scan of your athlete. We check their vertical, we check, their body mechanics, how they move in each plane of motion, whether or not there are any imbalances with their muscles. And then we put together a training program based on what we find and try to fix and correct all of that, and then go back and retest to see, how we did. So there's that program. It's $250 for height for middle school and $350 for high school. And the reason why it's a little bit more for high school is because it's a little bit more in-depth testing that we do.
And you do get people coming through, right? People do come through, and they buy these packages, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
I have one young man that, as a matter of fact, I worked with him 2 years ago. I don't know, I think it's been 3 years now. He had an ACL tear, and I did his corrective exercise work with him, and the regular sports performance training. And then I noticed that he was moving quite gingerly, because the other side of that, Donald, with the mental sports performance is, after an injury, a lot of athletes go through a mental block. They're afraid to, even after they've been cleared and have been working out for some time, they still have like a fear of going 100%, because they're afraid that they might re-injure themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that mental therapy that you do with him. But I did a test on him just to see if we can increase his load, like increase his angles when he's doing a squat, get his knees and stuff a little bit more pliable there with the ligaments and the tendons. So we did a lot of work to strengthen in around the knees. And if right off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken, but we were able to increase his strength and help him get stronger in like a 6-week period. I think all of his numbers jumped up like over 68% on everything.
Right.
Wow.
And that was like, hip flexion and, the angles with his knees and joints and all of that kind of good stuff. So we've been seeing some great results. Now it's time to put it out there and put it in motion. And in order to do that, get into what you were saying, Marty, the funding is needed. That's one of the biggest issues.
One of the biggest issues in there. Let me just, I
Right.
don't want to interrupt you just for 1 second. So
Mhm.
that 350 and that 250 also, you actually tell them, you're not a nutritionist, but you can tell them what to eat, or you can refer them to nutritionists also, right?
Right.
Is that
Well,
included?
yeah, well, see, that's the problem right there. I'm sorry, but we are certified sports nutritionists as well.
All right. See, right.
We
So
had to
that,
do that in order to coincide with, because a lot of it is what you put in your body. So
right, right.
we do
So,
have that as well, and we do provide the nutritional aspect of it as well.
and that's not part of the Ross and the raw. You know, the support that you need, of course, is for your Black-owned business to grow.
Mhm.
But the support that you also need is for the Ross development side, also, right? Am I
Right,
right or wrong?
Ross Urban Development, correct.
Right, right. So, how would you want people to donate? Is there any types of way that you would want people to donate to the work that you do? And briefly, what's the work? What's the work that you're doing with Ross Development connected to, what you're doing with the, what
So
I'm saying? What's the
yeah, so we had there's a gentleman really quick. He was a boxer, and this video is on our. As a matter of fact, if you go to Ross_sports performance, that will give everybody up for Instagram. Then you can kind of follow along and see our stories and all of that. But there was a gentleman that was in a really bad car accident. Him and his wife were hit by a, a drunk driver. He ran the red light, hit them. He was on a motorcycle with his wife, killed it. Unfortunately, his wife was killed, and he was, his body was just totaled, and he was told that he would never walk again. Now, this guy was a boxer. He trained boxers, professional boxers, and just a great all around person. I was training a good friend of his daughter who had an ACL tear. So I was just helping her off of her ACL tear. And
right?
they thought, wow, the work that you did was so great. You could help him. And I was like, wait a minute. Isn't he like in the bed, hasn't walked in, I don't know how, like a year or two, and
Mm-hmm.
has all these spinal issues and can't move? Like, what do you expect me to do? Literally, I said that. Like, what do you expect me to do? I can't help him with that. And they
Right.
said, no, you're doing the science stuff, and we watched you. Like, we just give it a try. Just please give it a try. So he didn't live too far from me. So I was like, I packed up my stuff and actually spoke with my mentor, a biomechanist doctor that I spoke to. And I said, well, here's the background. I wrote down my notes. I was like, here's his background. Here's what he has going on. I was like, and they want me to actually try to work with him. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. And he was like, well, what is it? Is it because these doctors said that he couldn't walk again?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, yeah, that's part of it. When you think about it, like, what can I come in and do? He was like, listen, you didn't do all that neural work for nothing and calling me at 2, 3 in the morning for nothing.
Right.
Like,
Right.
we were doing that thing with Duke. He was like, so, just write stuff down and just do it basic. He said, just the basic stuff. Start with the basic stuff. So I was like, all right. So he convinced me. I took some of my stuff with me, the neuro lights and all of that, some bands, went to his house and we talked, and I saw what was going on, and I just started working with him. And long story short, I can give you the video to post up later, but within, what was it, 5 months, not even, maybe, he was actually walking with a walker. And
Wow.
I actually just took some of the same training modalities that I use with sports performance training and applied it to him. So we did visual training, visual sports training. I had him close his eyes and sit there and try to move his hands like he would when he was shadow boxing or when he was boxing with his athletes.
Right.
Just to have him just to make the moves, and he was doing it. And you'll see him in the video doing stuff like that. I even I'm a certified Vertimax trainer, and Vertimax machine is the machine with the resistance bands in it that helps to increase speed and jumping abilities. So I took the band, put it around his ankle, the
Mm-hmm.
one leg that he had that really needed the work. I had the other one, I had him sitting in his wheelchair, and I'd make him push himself backwards with that band, like use the heel of his foot, put his foot in the dorsiflexion, and push his heel back like that to
Right.
strengthen his leg. And his
Wow.
legs started doing that. And we also did it with the arms. And we were able to move up to a point where I was able to adjust his chair and have him in the Smith machine doing, you know, um, doing his squats and doing his bench pressing and all that kind of good stuff. And it has blossomed. He did have a setback because he started walking on his own, but with, you know, cane but the thing is that he did it. And it made me feel good because I actually challenged myself
Right.
and thought outside of the box.
So it worked. It worked.
Yeah, and it worked. And
So,
we're
right.
still working together. We're getting ready to, like, his mom was just put in a home. Unfortunately, his mother was one of his caretakers, and
Mm-hmm.
she had cancer and got sick. She had Bell's palsy as well. But
Right.
now she's in a home, and they had a fire. Their house burned down.
Oh
So
man, that's
there's a
crazy.
lot of nonsense going on. And so now things are better, but his mother is in a home. I just spoke with him last week. We're going to be getting together this week to really start picking up again
Right.
and continuing. And we'll be filming that because I get a lot of people asking me, "Hey, what's going on with the boxer that you helped out?" So
Right. So it worked. I mean, so what let's talk of just briefly, let's quickly, we're running out a little bit of time right now, but let's ask you, Dana, what do you need? What's your GoFundMe? How do you want to do this? What do you need to keep your business going, to have more people, recognize you as a black owned business or just a business at all? What do you need? What do you
yeah,
want? Give us some numbers and some names so we can post them, so Donald can post them up. What's
to
going
give
on?
you some numbers and some names, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
give me
but
some
we're
numbers.
definitely looking for some partnerships. We're looking for some support and
Some
funding.
coins, some monies.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. So that we can keep growing the programs, and we're in the process of packaging it, taking it around the country to other places.
So you
Um,
didn't you have something with with Philadelphia with the 76ers for a minute, or was that the Eagles or something coming through? Or that
um,
didn't come through?
Now, well, you mean the G League? We did a G League combine last month,
Okay, yeah,
and
you're gonna have to
yeah,
post that. You're gonna have to post that so people can see what
yeah,
you
that's
did.
on the Ross_sports performance. If you put
Okay.
that up there, that's on Instagram,
All right,
and
so let's
you
put
can
that
click
up. We're
on
gonna
the
put
link.
that up.
Yeah, you can click on the links and see us in action there. Because
And,
we have PT people, we have
Mhm.
sports performance nurse who's awesome, and
and what's the sports performance name? What's her name?
Tamika Samuels. Yep.
Mika Samuels. And then you have the doctor that that you want to refer, Dr. Johnson,
Yeah, Dr. Rochelle Johnson. That's for the mental
right?
sports
And
piece. But as you can see, we got all of these people that are a part of it. So we're all looking for support. We're all looking for, people to help pour in so that we can take this thing all around. We need to get out there to Indianapolis. I think I was talking to you about that,
yeah,
Marty.
we were. This is a mecca of basketball. There's so many things going on out here when it comes to
Hmm.
sports, athletics, and
Right. But we do all
black-owned
sports
businesses and
too.
causes. It's
Yeah, we
out of
do all
control.
sports.
But
We do.
Ross Development, the name of your company is, once again.
Ross Sports Performance, and our nonprofit is Ross Urban Development.
And how can people donate? What do you want people to give to? Is it your Cash App for now? Because I know you're working on a couple of other things on your site. But what's your Cash App so we can post that and have people donate in some form to what you need. Do you have
Okay.
it?
Yeah, so for a Cash App, it would be the $ Ross Sports for the Cash App. And then
Is that one word? No
yeah,
dash
it's
sports?
yeah, there's no dash or anything like that.
So it's dollar sign Ross, ROSSSPORT, three
Yes.
S's, right?
Yeah, Ross Sports.
Okay,
Oh,
it's dollar sign. Our Cash App is dollar sign ROSSSPORT.
Yeah, PORTS, Ross Sports.
Oh, sports. I said sport. All right. Yeah.
And
So
then for Ross Urban Development, it's just Venmo is at Ross-Urban Development.
urban development.
Yep, at Ross-Urban Development.
All right.
And we appreciate any donations, anything that can be given to help us complete and do the work that we're doing, to continue this work we're doing with kids and youth and the general population too, because this science technology that we have, we're utilizing it to help the general population.
And we need, we definitely need it. And the thing about it is that I've known you for a while, and I know you've been working on this. And the last time we spoke about this on the show, you were starting to work things. You have made some really great improvements and have pushed forward in the business, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
At the same time, we just need to get more people to know about what we do as a collective to come together. This is a revolutionary way of giving back. So if you give to a Black-owned business like Dana's business, you'll be able to say that you're giving to back to your people in Philadelphia. You're helping these youth just grow, no matter what color they are. They're growing athletically. They're just doing their thing. And Dana is also had trained in the past with famous trainers. Dana was a track star back in the day. So please donate to Coach Ross, and let's make her business grow. How's that sound, Donald?
It sounds great.
All right.
Great. And Dana, we want to thank you so much again for your time, for your expertise.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I got to get my kids over to your camp because my goal is to get them to the Olympics. I'm one of those parents.
Hey, there it is.
Let's go, kids. Let's go.
Hey, my 22-year-old is fencing again at Purdue.
What?
Yeah, I didn't tell you she started fencing.
Nah.
Yeah, she started fencing again. She pulled out the stuff, pulled up the pure quality outfit, threw it on, went out to Purdue and beat the #1 Purdue dude out there.
Okay.
The first day, but she was sore. She said, "I'm so sore, Dad. I have done this a long time. I'm so sore."
She should be going to the Olympics, man.
Yeah. But these kids, they want to do what they want to do. But she's in Purdue fencing right now, so that's good. But anyway,
that's awesome.
Like we were saying, because we do have to go. But Dana, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to continue to big up your business. We're going to continue to big up what we do. This is
abreast of what we're doing out here.
That's right. Road to Legacy podcast. We're coming through. We're going to keep doing this. We want to keep building up our content. Please join us and friend us, Donald. Is that right? That's what they have to do with the YouTube?
All they got to do is subscribe to the YouTube page.
Subscribe. That's it.
You guys watch this later on. You want to support what we do. You want to support what Dana does. For us, you just hit the subscription button. For Dana, you go to her Cash App that I put there. Her website is up there as well. If you have any comments or you want to be a part of what it is that Dana is doing out in Pennsylvania, go to her website, go to her Instagram, and you can follow what she does to support us. You guys already know, like I said, hit that subscribe button on YouTube and help us get these numbers up so we can continue to bring you these amazing interviews that we do.
And what's our Cash App for the Toy Drive?
Yeah, our Cash App is RSL. I actually should have dropped that into this as well, which I did not. Our Cash App though is RSL. When you go in there, it'll be $LD7G. I wasn't able to change it to our joint anyway, but right now it's $LD7G. We talk behind the scenes, Dana. You can maybe help us fix that. Because that has nothing to do. It says Road to Legacy at all. I don't even know who LG.
That's because we think of other people's businesses more than we do ours, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and then also too, let me know. Is there like a link that people can post on their websites for your Christmas drive? Because I've seen that already. People are already starting to send out links for Christmas drives.
Yes.
Yes. We will send that to you. We're just waiting on the last finishing touches for the video, but that will definitely be up very
because
soon.
we will make you our official. Sorry about that. We'll make you our official Christmas support drive on our networks. How about that?
Oh, that would be a blessing.
You'll be our official Christmas sponsorship charity that we're going to support. Yeah.
All right.
So
we'll do that.
All right. And I appreciate you guys.
We love you.
Appreciate you too, Dana. Thank you so much. And
thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Of course. And you'll be back on again, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to come in and ad lib and all that other stuff so we can joke and act all crazy so we can get more crazy viewers.
I definitely will.
We love you, Dana.
All right. Love you guys too. Have a good day.
All right. God bless. Peace.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Road to Legacy out. Thank you so much for joining us. We had Dana Ross, Coach Dana Ross from Philadelphia. Thank you so much. Donald, your last words?
Last words, be good to each other. Make the human race great again. Make everybody get together, spread love, be safe out there in the streets.
I said one word, man. I said a word.
Hey, I got a whole lot to say. No, but thank Dana Ross again for coming through, y'all. Support what she does with her incredible sports facility. Go to her Instagram and go to her website and support what we do. You know, guys, again, we have that toy drive coming up on December 19th. You will be seeing a link description in our bio very soon about how you can donate and support. And then lastly, hit that subscription button on YouTube. It will make a difference. It's free. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Until next time, we will see you guys later. Happy Hump Day. Peace.